All right, let's be real. Making a game can be just a giant, daunting, massive mountain of a task that can be hard to break down into smaller, more accommodating pieces. I know I've certainly had ideas that just kind of grew and grew until they just became too much for a solo game developer to possibly do. I just finished my first game jam. I learned a couple of non-technical things that I was neglecting that really helped making the task of making a game much more manageable. And I just wanted to share those thoughts here. So welcome back to the channel. My name is Black Shinobi. I'm a solo game dev. I've been working in Unreal Engine for the last 10 years, and I'm really just figuring out game dev in real time. I'm self-taught. All these things that I talk about on this channel are from the perspective of someone who has not worked in the industry. I just wanted to share a couple thoughts that really helped me get through this game jam. But first, I want to start off with a question. What do you do when you feel burnt out? Leave your answers in the comments, please. So if you haven't been here before, I'm still working on a longer project, and it's coming along. I'll have an update up for it soon. But anyways, I started feeling a little burnt out late in October. Normally, I would just take a break from development in general, but this time I wanted to try something different. So I joined a game jam. I ended up joining Game Off 2022. If you don't know what a game jam is, it's basically just a friendly competition. It's a good way to really test your skill set and really figure out what you know, right? So Game Off 2022 was 30 days long, and going into it, we did not know what the theme was going to be until the day that it started. Now, it's important to note that this is the first time I had to develop to a deadline, and I used to hate the idea of that, and it was really more just because I didn't want to like fully commit. I didn't want to admit it, but I was trying to avoid fully committing to game development, giving myself concrete deadlines for the goals that I was setting. And it turned out that developing to a deadline was absolutely the best thing for me. So the whole point of this video is I learned a couple of non-technical things that I think get neglected if you're just a solo game dev. So let's just go through them one by one. The first one is community is key. We've all heard the expression iron sharpens iron, and today I can verify that that is absolutely true. Game dev up until this Game Off was really just a solo hobby for me, and I because I was developing to a deadline, it really changed everything, right? Number one, because it was a short time span, I needed to get my wife on board. I was actually forced to talk to her about what I wanted to do and what my goal was, and verbalizing my objective just helped provide a ton of clarity. And number two, the theme for this game jam was hard. The theme for this game jam was cliches, right? Like, you had to make a game centered around cliches in 30 days. And I had no clue where to start. So I jumped in the group text, talked to my best friend, and we were able to brainstorm a couple of really good ideas. But the main takeaway is having a support system behind you can really put yourself in a different mindset. Like I used to doubt myself a lot. I used to not really be clear on what it was I was trying to do, but just having some small community just tell me that they're supporting me and listen to my ideas and give me feedback really just put me in a different space, and it just made development easy. So community is key. If you're a solo game dev, don't stick to yourself. Find some people you can trust and have honest conversations and get honest feedback with, and I think you'll be better for it. Number two, make a plan and stick to it. My MO for game dev was always be put my head down, pick up a task, work on it, and repeat. And I believed eventually I would pick my head up and I would have a game. I would have a bunch of work done, and I would have a game. But that mindset makes it really difficult to see the bigger picture. And when you can't see the bigger picture, it's very easy to not notice all your flaws. Well, not notice your design flaws, right? B, you can become really susceptible to feature creep. Spend way too much time making small parts of your game that really don't affect the bigger picture, the final product, right? So I've learned from Game Off 2022 that I need to develop with my minimum viable product in mind. That's MVP, minimum viable product. Your MVP is just the bare minimum that it takes for you to have a game, right? And if you stay focused on just the core elements of your game and then go back and and then go back and work on those finer details, I can guarantee you your game will come out much better for it. I made the mistake of not even defining my MVP before I started developing. The result of that was I got caught up in the environment design, and I spent way too much time working on the environment. Now, the plus side is I had an environment that looked great, but the downside is I needed to focus more on my gameplay mechanics, and my game came out very shallow because I didn't spend enough time working on the mechanics, and that's reflected in the comments that I've gotten on my game thus far. And last but not least, it's a simple one. Just don't crunch. I'm not saying don't push yourself. Learning anything new is supposed to be challenging, but don't work so hard that you're depriving yourself of stuff that you need to function. That's sleep, that's food, that's fresh air, that's time outside. Just do what you can and then do a little bit more. My entire methodology for this game jam was do what I can and then just do one more thing on top of that. And it worked. It turns out my brain works much better when it's not sleep deprived or powered by caffeine. One thing that I found when I was crunching, I would spend a bunch of time at night making a thing, and I'd finish the thing, and then the next day I'd come back and look at what I had made the day before and find all the little flaws in the design, in the code, in the way that it was made, and I would spend half of my next coding session fixing all the stuff that I made when I was tired. And I thought I was being productive. That's the crazy part. I really looked at myself in the mirror and said, oh man, I'm being super productive. But all I was doing was redoing work. And there's a much better way you can spend your time. If you approach things with a well-rested mind, your approach to design should be much better. You should have a lot more clarity, and it can have a huge impact on your ability to be productive. At least that's what I found when I did this game off. So take breaks, play games, touch grass, and enjoy life away from your PC. The experiences that you have while you're not thinking about your game, I think are guaranteed to make your game better in the end. So let's recap. Community is key. Don't spend too much time in isolation. Bounce your ideas off people. Create a plan and stick to it. Your MVP is important. Really have it worked out and defined in your head, and spend the bulk of your time on the core parts of your game that really matter. Avoid feature creep at all costs, because feature creep can really kill a project or a game. You know that if you've worked in software engineering or just been a game developer. And last, don't crunch. Just do what you can and then do a little bit more. And I think your game will come out much better, just based on those three small things. I know they were non-technical. I think in this game dev community on YouTube, we get a lot of technical content. There's a lot of y'all that are like way smarter than me. That was that was made apparent from the other submissions to Game Off 2022. The game that I submitted wasn't anything amazing, but I'm still very proud of it. I'll leave a link to it down below. But I'm always looking for input. If I'm dead wrong, let me know so I can get better for it. If you agree, let me know so I know I'm on the right track. That's it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Helps me out in the algorithm. Grace and peace, fam.